Have you ever been talking to a new guy and it felt like every single step you made in the relationship, he was like kind of testing you? And unless you know that you're actually being tested, it can really leave you wondering, what the is going on and why is he asking me these types of questions? But after this video, you will be armed with the knowledge of the type of tests that men usually put women through. In this video right now, I'm gonna be reviewing 4 tests that most men put women through in order to determine whether or not they really want to commit to her. Keep watching. Hey there, my name is Adam Littlejohn from sexyconfidence.com, where I help you create your love story, and this video is all about tests in relationships. And by the way, you women out there, you're testing the shit out of us guys all the time, whether you know it or not. In previous videos, I talk a lot about the dating process and how it really is just one big experiment, and you're just kind of testing every single step of the way. You're testing if you're compatible, you're testing whether or not that person is going to fit into your life, and you're testing whether or not you really have feelings for this person. So here are 4 tests that men consistently put women through, and you're gonna wanna watch out for these. I'm gonna give you exactly how it is that you can pass these tests, assuming you actually want to pass this guy's test, AKA if you like the guy. Test number 1 is called the casual relationship test. A lot of single guys out there who have options of lots of women they could potentially date will try to see if they can keep a relationship casual during those early stages. What the casual relationship does is allows the guy to get relationship benefits without actually being in a relationship. So the way to pass this test is to not give a guy relationship benefits unless you are actually in a committed exclusive relationship. And this really spans beyond just what most people think, which is just sexual intimacy. And this spans further than that into really emotional intimacy, always being there for him, being his support system every single step of the way, where he's not doing the same for you. The second test is what I call the bro test. This is where a guy, if he really likes a girl, is going to bring her out with his guy friends and see how she does. In his mind, he's gonna be thinking, can she hang with the boys? Now, contrary to a lot of advice out there, you don't have to be farting and burping and drinking beer every single step of the way in order to pass this test. And in fact, there really should be no passing of gas until I would say that 1-year mark in a relationship. The way to pass this test when you're hanging out with your new guys, bro friends, is to just simply ask these guys questions about themselves. Most people, when they're put in this type of a situation where they're feeling judged, what do? They start to talk about themselves, right? Like, it's natural to feel like you need to impress everyone, so you want to tell everyone, you know, where you went to school, what do you do for work? And in many ways, it almost feels like you're kind of bragging about yourself. So instead of constantly talking about yourself, rather than doing that, take the energy off of yourself and place it elsewhere. Ask the guys, what do they like to do for fun? Where do they like to go out at night? Ask them questions about the guy that you're talking to. Get some insider information there. That is a way you can really start connecting with these guys. The best way to get someone to like you is to get them talking about themselves. It's a strange psychological effect. The next test is the family test. This is where a guy presents you to his family. If he's younger, he might introduce you to his parents, or if he's a little bit older, he might introduce you to his kids. This is where you're actually probably gonna have to talk about yourself a little bit more. Because chances are, if you've been in this situation, you realize that these people want to get to know you. I'll never forget this past year when I was on a show called K Plus Date. It was on TLC, and I was helping Kate Gosselin find love. And in case you don't know Kate Gosselin, she got famous from a show called K Plus 8, because she has 8 children. So the producers thought it would be really funny to get these potential dates in front of some of her daughters, where they were just getting absolutely grilled about things in their life. And it made for pretty good TV. But this is where I wish I could have just talked to these guys before this interview process. Because typically when you're in this situation, people are gonna ask you about 4 things. Number 1 is religion. Number 2 is what you like to do for fun. Number 3 is your work. And number 4 is your family. Now, this doesn't mean you have to have everything figured out in all 4 of those areas, okay? However, you should have something positive to say about each of those 4 parts of your life. If you decide that you don't wanna talk at all about religion, it's not something that's on the table, well, that's gonna be a problem. If you absolutely hate your job and don't have anything nice to say about it, then that's a problem. If you don't like to do anything for fun and you can't really answer that question because you're just kind of a lame person, well, that is a fail. And then finally, if you don't like your family and you have no close connections in your family, well, that too is a big problem. So the way to pass this test when you're meeting someone's family for the first time is just to put a little bit of thought into each of those areas, because chances are they will be discussed. And then finally, last but not least, is what I call the wife material test. This is where a guy is deciding whether or not this would be the type of woman he'd really want to settle down with. Do you like to do the same things? Do you have the same vision of your future moving forward? And then it can go all the way down to the more like tactical things, such as like, do you like to cook? Would you be able to cook? Are you a complete slob? Is your house a complete disaster all the time? When he walks in your bedroom, do you have just like 50 pieces of clothing everywhere and you can't even walk through the house? Or would you be good around children? Like, if you want to have children in the future, do you have motherly instincts? These are things that men are always looking out for when they're deciding if they want to really commit for the long haul. Quick funny story on this. Back when Jessica and I first started dating, she would come to my apartment and sometimes we would just cook dinner because we were spending a lot of time together. And I would always invite her to cook dinner with me, or sometimes I'd be like, hey, you know what? Why don't you cook dinner tonight? And she would always say something that kind of threw me off. And she said, Adam, I'm sorry, I just don't like cooking in other people's kitchens. And I remember thinking to myself, that doesn't seem reasonable. She's probably a really, really bad cook. Like, she's probably just hiding something from me. Now, luckily, she had a lot of other incredible qualities about her that made me really want to commit to her for the long haul. And it wasn't until we moved in together and we had our own place together where she started cooking, and it turns out she's an amazing cook, way better than me. Now, of course, it all worked out between the two of us, so you know what? She failed that one little test, but she just passed every other single test imaginable. Which leads me to the end of this video, which is the sexiest thing of all is a woman who knows herself and is who she is authentically, and she brings that to the table. This video is really just designed to give you some insight into the male mind, and it's not designed for you to manipulate yourself into someone that you're not. Yes, tests do happen, and by the way, you should also be testing men every single step of the way. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. And also, if you want to access a full library of courses that will help you through finding love, keeping love, overcoming heartbreak, as well as just self-love, I recommend you check out the Sexy Confidence Club. We have a 14-day free trial at sexyconfidence.com/club. I'd love for you to join me along with the thousands of other women who are part of that incredible community. And it's really designed to help you feel more confident in your love life. So if you want to check that out, you can go to link in bio or check in the link in the description. We got it all right down there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you, you sexy single lady, next week. Bye-bye.